Hey guys, it's Tad here from Attack of the Killer podcast. Welcome to another video update. This one's a special one because this one's for everyone, not just our Patreon subscribers. Of course, they're going to be able to watch this video too, but we wanted to sort of give a preview of what you're missing if you're not subscribed to our Patreon page. We upload a video every week from me and Mike and Brian, Jason. Everybody sort of chips in and does a different video. Sometimes we do toy reviews, movie reviews. Mike's doing a whole series of his favorite films, which has been very crazy and intense. If you know Mike, it probably doesn't surprise you at all that he's doing that. He's going through, I don't remember, his top 100 films or something crazy. But anyways, we just wanted to give you sort of a preview of what we do on this YouTube page. We record new videos, and our Patreon subscribers who generously donate to our podcast get to see these exclusive videos. And this isn't an exclusive video, but this is just one of many videos. Each week we have a new upload, and if you're not supporting us on Patreon, you're missing out, because we do some cool things, in my opinion. Outside of just listening to the podcast, you get to sort of see a small glimpse into our daily lives, or what we do, or what we love. And if you're a horror fan, we probably have a lot of that in common. So if this is the first video update you're seeing, yeah, welcome to Attack of the Killer podcast YouTube video series. And go to our Patreon page, subscribe, give us a little bit of money, just because we're a small group of friends who just love horror movies, just like you and your friends probably. But we record a podcast every other week. We're always updating, and it takes a lot of effort. Jason and Mike have been doing this for many years, and it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. And as much as we love to be rolling in dough from this, we all have day jobs. This is just something we do for fun. So your support means the world to us. It helps us do anything from getting the word out to getting more listeners. We just want people to enjoy our podcast. So, it goes from anything for helping us travel. We're hoping to do some more live shows, which you'll hear about soon. Keeps our webpage running, keeps our Facebook running, keeps us going in general. So, like I said, support our Patreon. It's just, you can do any amount. You can do as little as $1 a month, and that helps us immensely. We really appreciate the support. So, anyways, get on with the video, right? Well, most of you are used to me. If you've seen this video series before, you know I do a lot of toy reviews. As you can see behind me, I love toys. I collect a lot of horror toys, but I'm trying to branch out a little bit. Last video update I reviewed a book, which I know, right? A book, who cares? How do you review a book? But this week I wanted to do something sort of interesting and special that you won't see on any other page. And that's because we're offering this one for free to everyone. We sort of want to give a good idea of what we have to offer. So I'll pull this item out, and I'm just going to sort of tell a crazy story about it and talk about it a little bit. But when you see this, you're probably thinking, yeah, cool. I have a hockey mask too. Everyone has a crappy plastic hockey mask. Why are you showing that off? And without the story, you're right. This is just another crappy plastic hockey mask. But I'll tell my story of how this came to be in my possession, and we're pretty sure it's been, and the history behind it. So basically, this mask, you can sort of see both sides of it. From what I can gather, is a blank, unused mask from the set of Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. Now, backtracking to how I found that information out, there's sort of a crazy story. So I live in small town Iowa. We have a local flea market that's very, very big at our community college. I've been going to it since I was a little kid. And so me and my dad, we'd always go. It's on like one Sunday a month through the summer. Me and my dad went one year. This is probably, man, it's probably been like 10 years now. But me and my dad go. We're walking table to table. You know, usually you just find junk, just people's junk. It's like a large garage sale. But I approached this table and I thought, man, you know, that looks like there's a bunch of horror stuff on that table. So I walk over and it's this really old lady. She's probably in her late 60s, 70s maybe. I wish I would have gotten more information on her, and I wouldn't put her information on here anyways, but I approached the table, introduced myself, and, you know, looking over all this horror stuff, she had a bunch of toys, books, Fangoria magazines, all kinds of really cool stuff. And so digging through the stuff, seeing what I want, what I don't want, strike up a conversation with her, you know, and explain, yeah, I'm a big horror collector, I love horror movies, and I'm going to try to make this long story short, but I like to ramble. Anyways, she has years of Fangoria bundled up, and I said, you know, how much do you want for the magazine? She gives them to me for really cheap. Didn't think much of it, whatever. You know, I bought that and a few toys or whatever, and she's like, you know, oh, you're a big collector, I'll bring more stuff next month if you're going to be here. And I said, of course I'm going to be here if you're going to bring more stuff. So anyways, she said, I'll hold it back until you get here, just try to get here early next month. So next month comes, and me and my dad go out, and she has the table at the same spot, and we, you know, exchange hellos, and she pulls out some really cool other stuff and some pictures of from a movie set, and she says, you know, well, you know, you're probably wondering why I have all this horror stuff. Well, my son was really into horror movies, and he worked in special effects makeup. And, well, that's really cool. And she said, yeah, unfortunately, he passed away pretty young, and this is his stuff I'm sort of getting rid of. And she said, you know, you're a collector, you've been really nice to me, and gotten a lot of stuff, so I sort of want this stuff. If you want it, I want the stuff to go to you. And that was really awesome of her. And I sort of told her, you know, not going to resell your son's stuff. I'm a collector. I'm going to keep everything that I buy from you, because I wouldn't feel right. She had a few items. She had like original copies of the Halloween novelization, things that were not very, but pretty valuable. And I told her, you know, don't sell these here or to even me, because you have the prices way too low. And so I helped her put this stuff on eBay. But anyways, you know, after she told me that her son worked in makeup and stuff, I thought, you know, well, how do I find out what he worked on? Then I thought, oh, I have his Fangorias that were sent to him with his address on them and his name. So of course I type his name into IMDb, and it pops up, and he worked on, I think, like 2 or 3 films, but the one that popped up right away that was notable was Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. And she told me, yeah, he moved to LA to pursue his passion for makeup and special effects and stuff, which, you know, awesome, cool. A lot of people do that, but when his name popped up on there, I thought, holy cow, you know, that's a pretty big deal. Well, flash forward to the next month, I go, and she has this guy sitting on the table. And I sort of freaked out and grabbed it and, you know, oh man, what are you doing with this? And she goes, well, I don't know. It was sitting in his room, and it doesn't have, you know, it's just a beat up old hockey mask, but I thought you might like it. And I'm like, might like it? She's like, yeah, just have it. I don't know the history on it. I don't know if it was possibly used in a movie. I don't know anything about it, but he had it sitting around his room. And keep in mind, when he passed away, people weren't making replicas to sell online. Now the market's flooded with them, but at the time that he was doing this and he worked on the film, people didn't have, you know, movie molds. People didn't collect the high-end replicas. So you couldn't just go to the store, or even the internet it existed, but it wasn't prevalent in collecting at the time. You know, eBay was just a blip on the map. But so I took it home, didn't think much of it, you know, and thought, well, that would be cool, but how do I know? Well, flash forward to a few years ago, I was I saw an article, I think on either a Friday the 13th Facebook group or message board or something. I'm, you know, in all those Facebook groups or whatever. Someone posted like an article about the history of Friday the 13th masks, and his name is Jason Farrell, and he's a sort of historian on the history of the hockey masks, and well, not just the hockey masks, all the Jason masks and replicas, everything. And so he posted an article about the history and stuff, and so I sort of just cautiously reached out to him and said, hey, I have this thing sitting in my collection. I don't know if it's something or nothing, but I thought you might want to see it, and if anybody would know what it was, you would. So I reached out. He asked me to take measurements, send pictures, which I did. He asked me about the paint and stuff and where it came from, and I verified the person's name. I even at one point messaged the head of special effects on the film, and name's drawing a blank right now. But I found him on Facebook. He had a page dedicated to special effects makeup and stuff, and asked him about Steven Sommerfeld, whose name, like I said, I looked up on IMDb. I have his magazines with his home address when he lived in Iowa. And he said, oh yeah, I remember him, you know, and we talked back and forth. And, you know, I said, well, I have this mask from the set, from what I believe is from the set, but it's from his home. Either way, he owned it. But anyways, after talking to Jason Farrell, who's the sort of replica expert about this mask, he talked to a few other people who worked on the film about the exact paints that were used on the mask. And there's two different tones. There's one on the back, one on the front. And if you look closely at some of the details on the back inside of this mask, you can see this was, you know, each hole was cast down to little things, how wide it is, the knife cut, you know, that, and Jason was obviously way more knowledgeable in the story, in the history of these masks than I have ever been or will ever be. But he sort of just talked about the specific tones and colors of paint that were used on this mask and how, you know, it wasn't common knowledge. So he believes this is a unused mask from the set that somehow Steven must have just taken. I'm sure they made a bunch of masks, and this one was obviously never finished. It doesn't have any of the triangles on it. It's not finished. It just has the base coat on it. But you know, just the fact that I found this at a flea market in the middle of Iowa blows my mind. You know, the chance that it could possibly be real from the set is pretty awesome, and I probably shouldn't just be like tossing this and holding it with my bare hands or something, because, you know, he reached out and after I sort of posted on this forum, and he wrote a long article. It's really interesting about the history of the masks, and it's so thorough, and he knows so much. But yeah, it's wild to think I'm, you know, sitting around in my basement, and I should probably get a shadow box or something to hold it in. But you know, I'll never sell it. I've been several offers after I posted it in some groups and stuff about the history of it. People wanted to see all the kinds of pictures. Obviously, a lot of pretty good deals and offers were sent my way to buy it. People asked if they could if I ever considered just sending it in for a scan or a clay pressing, or, you know, they want to make a mold of it or whatever. I just don't, at this time, don't feel right about it, because it was given to me from, you know, from Steven's mother, you know, and she gave it to me under the pretense that it was a gift to me as a collector. So I have never sold any of the stuff she gave me or sold me. Some of it I just have in storage. I have some pictures from a movie set. I don't know what set it was, but yeah, that's sort of the cool history of this, which is just absolutely weird. And you might find the story absolutely boring, but the fact that in small town Iowa I found this hockey mask sitting on a table at a flea market, and I could trace it back to who owned it and that they actually worked on the film is just crazy. It's awesome. So yeah, that's my quick story about this. I have other sort of weird stories about stuff that she sold me or I found, but I'll save that for another video update. So if you subscribe to her Patreon, maybe, you know, I'll have a part 2 or part 3 about this. But yeah, so you sort of get an idea of what we do. Usually, and I'll probably continue in the next couple of videos, usually I review a toy and sort of unboxing or talk about something new that I got in my collection. But if you want, like I've said in every video, if you see something behind me that you think looks interesting, or over my shoulder or whatever, or there's anything that you might think I have in my collection that you want to see me talk about, let us know in the comments. I'm on Twitter at Tadgood, T-A-D-D, Tadgood. Facebook, Instagram, it's all the same handle. So, shoot me a message or hit me up, and be happy to create some videos. I want to know what you guys want to see. So, yeah, thanks again to all of our Patreon subscribers that do support us and keep us floating. And thanks for all the new watchers today. If you're coming in blindly and seeing what we do, welcome to our page, and listen to our podcast, and subscribe, share it. Even a like on Facebook helps us immensely, helps us spread the word. We're just trying to share our passion for film with the world. So thank you again for your support, and I'll see you next time on Attack of the Killer podcast.